study classical studies. She's like, I don't know, because they don't offer Hebrew up there. I was like, well, hey, I offer Hebrew. Have them come on up. They can take classes here. She's like, well, I warned him. There's a lot of Jesus up there. And turns out he's like, oh yeah, I want to be a pastor. So that's totally fine with me. So she's like, so I guess he kind of wants to go up there. I was like, yeah. I mean, if you ever want to come on up, you can. She's like, well, I do want to learn Ugaritic. And all the Ugaritic, you'll know this, obviously, all the Ugaritic grammars are written off of biblical Hebrew. It's like, hey, you should come on up. Come take Hebrew with me. Do that, and then you and I can work on Ugaritic on the side. So there are ways people actually care about the Bible. Not because they care about the Bible, but because they care about history, or because they care about culture, or they care about ethics, or politics. So I don't have to apologize for loving the Bible. In fact, the more excited I get about it, the more they feel like, oh, this matters to this guy. Outside of this is the weird part, and I talk about this in my classes. Y'all are becoming professional Christians, which will freak people out. If you're in my class, you can't answer this question. You're making eye contact that puts you on the hook. Are you pre-med? Are you pre-med? No. Okay. My sister-in-law is the chief of the ER down at the hospital down in Medford. Okay. You and my sister-in-law Corey are in a room, and a kid falls over and gets up screaming, holding his elbow. What do you do? Okay, go over and comfort him. That's a good idea. That is a good thing. And then what do you do? Kids screaming, I think I broke my arm, I think I broke my arm. You and Corey are in the room. What do you do?
I grab something to get the word.
I love this guy's passion. Does anybody see what's wrong with what's going on here? Yeah, you're smiling. What's wrong here?
Well, the lady knows what.
There's a doctor in the room. You should hand the kid to the doctor. Keep comforting, but hand the broken kid to the doctor because she's trained for this, right? Now, I'm not saying any of that is bad. You and Jane Doe are in the room, and some kid is blowing up his life. Smoking way too much weed, probably doing a little bit of meth too. Sleeps with his girlfriend, and probably hit her last week. And now mom wants somebody to know, how do I fix my kid? Do they go to Jane Doe, or do they go to the professional Christian? That's you all, just so you know. And you are literally becoming professional Christians, professional soul doctors. People are going to look at you and say, fix my kid. This is what you got a degree in, right? I trust the doctor to fix his elbow. You got a degree in fixing souls, so fix my kid's soul. This is weird stuff, but just get your heads around this because this is where you're going. We expect the church to be the pros. It's why we subcontract out ministry to the pros. So I don't let people know what I do outside of Corbin. That's why the rule is, if you ever call me doctor whatever, you fail my class. Because the more people find out what I do in my churches, the less they want to talk about the Bible, the less they want to talk about Jesus. So why would I ever say anything in front of the pro? It shuts down every Bible study. It shuts down every small group. It shuts down most accountability groups. You will be this intimidating force in the room. And you've got to find a way to get past that. Otherwise, it goes straight to your head, and your pride will just bring you down. So we volunteer at a soup kitchen, and nobody knows what I do at that ministry. I just hang out with homeless guys. We talk about what's going on in their lives, and I scrub a lot of dishes. So that's what we do for ministry, for feeding Jesus, for bringing the kingdom, that sort of stuff. Name? Jacob.
If I want to get ahead for Hebrew next semester over the summer, what resources would you suggest?
I've got some great therapists. There are some pills you can take. What else? Donkey kick to the head. Why would you want to get ahead in Hebrew?
I feel like a semester with Hebrew I might not be able to learn full extent.
One semester's worth?
Is that long? 2 semesters?
Okay, so just so you know, different schools do different things. At Corbin, we do a sequence of 2 semesters. So this year is Greek, so Greek 1, and this is Greek 2 this semester. Next year is Hebrew 1 in the fall, Hebrew 2 in the spring. So it's 2 semesters. You don't have to take it. I think most of your requirements will be filled with just 1 semester of either biblical language. If you want to do biblical languages, you have to do the full year of both. And will I be ready to read Hebrew by the time I'm done with 1 year? No, that's what I tell my students. How do you know that? You said no.
It's different, language is difficult, especially when you go back to one that's not commonly used.
Because you're a 9-month-old. Because you're my daughter. And she's a slacker. She's almost 2 years old. She's barely just speaking right now. I'm kind of worried about her, but Sam's not. Because you'll literally be a 9-month-old. You will be one of the most advanced 9 months old in the world when it comes to this language. What 9-month-old can actually speak full sentences? But you're still just a 9-month-old. So don't, when you look at language, don't think you should be fluent by the time you're done with 1 year of Greek or 1 year of Hebrew. Doesn't mean it's bad, but just calibrate your expectations so you don't get discouraged thinking like, oh, why isn't this coming faster? Why can't I love Jesus more? You love Jesus plenty. It's just languages are hard. So if you wanted to get ahead, come and see me. We have one of our students, one of our grads, is at Princeton Seminary right now, preparing his way to go be an Old Testament professor. He just came in and we just did private lessons on the side because I like Hebrew. If you do this, if you get ahead and you come to me next fall, we're just going to start you back at 0. So you're going to get A's on all the quizzes, but you're not going to get there any faster because I have to carry 20 other students there too. So you'll still get the same place by the end of the year. If you really want to do a language, what you have to do is after that year is over, then say, hey, I will take extra elective credits to do more of that language. So that's why I was late. I did Hebrew last year. Last fall, 4 of the students came to me and said, I want more Hebrew. So we did a private class for those 4. After that was done, 3 of those students said, we want even more. We're not even going to do it for credit. So I just meet with them once a week and we just read Hebrew together. What you do, if you are one of those people that wants to learn a language, you have to use it lots. That's just how you learn languages. You just use it a lot. If you don't want to learn a language, that is fine. Jesus loves you. Plenty. Jesus read a translation. Okay? Jesus read a translation of the Bible. He could read some Hebrew. He probably wasn't awesome at Hebrew aside from being God. But let's be honest. Jesus spoke Greek day to day. And Hebrew was probably a struggle for him. And that was fine. English Bibles are great translations. I had a professor back at Multnomah who would threaten all the Greek and Hebrew students. If I ever walk into one of your churches and I hear you say, but the Hebrew says, and you launch into something blah, 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 he says, I will take my shoe off and I will fling it at you from the back of the church because all you did right there was convince everybody in the room that the real people that really understand the Bible, well, you need Greek and Hebrew for that. English is nice, but if you really want to understand it, Greek and Hebrew. Oh, you don't read Greek and Hebrew? Then you have to come to me. And that's a big problem. Doesn't mean don't do Greek and Hebrew, but you better know how to do it well and do it quietly.
Raise your hand if you get Kairos program.
Greek and Hebrew.
These are your Hebrew people in the fall, unless they change their mind.
Tipping 40s here. There we go. Pull one out from my boys. Okay. Phoebes?
Last question.
When you look at our generation, what's something that excites you for people ordaining ministry for this generation?
Our generation. I'm like one year out of that one. I technically I'm a millennial too. How many of you are screenagers? Most of you are millennials, right?
No, I think we're all.
Where
They're mostly
none of us
ideas.
Okay, so you're saying 95?
95 after.
Some of the cutoffs are like 2000. All of you are after 95 though? Okay, so you're all like the next one after. We don't have a name for you yet, do we? iGen? Okay, screen age, iGen, whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, I'm like 2 years off of that. Come on, give me a break. Anyways,
Young and spry.
young and spry. Here's what I love. How many careers will the average person have? 7? You said 4, it's a little low. You said 7. Statistically speaking, 7 careers in your lifetime. If you were born in the 1970s, that number has lagged. Yo, this age, you will probably have about 12 potentially career track jobs before you get to 35. Yeah. Doesn't mean that each one of them is like, I am going to do this as my career, but they're potentially career track jobs before you're 35. What excites me is actually the potential of that. All the mission, how many of you are going to do overseas missions? Okay, all the agencies are freaked out right now by all of you. Like, oh, they're not like signing up for 50 years and they're not committed and they won't like, yeah, because when my grandma did that, she got on a boat and sailed for a month and couldn't come home. I got on a plane, flew for 6 hours, did some stuff and came back. I think the potential to innovate, to be entrepreneurial, is just ingrained in all of you. And you will disrupt all kinds of old models, which is what has to happen. We cannot hang on to 1950s models of evangelism when we are working in 2018. We have to adapt, and we have to not look at you as a problem. We can look at you as the best tap in to what's going on with everybody else you're going to be reaching anyways. It's just what we do. So my buddy hangs out with a bunch of potheads over in Slovenia because they have the world's longest downhill track. It's a 7-mile downhill skateboarding track. He'd never picked up a longboard in his life, but the potheads didn't want to talk to him because he wouldn't smoke weed with them. It's like, but they do longboard. I'll pick up a longboard. And that's what he does. He just longboards with a bunch of guys. Longboard for Jesus. It wasn't exactly the thing back in the 1950s. But hey, why not try it? The innovative aspect of this culture, I think, is a great thing. I would recommend, if I can, this is my plug.
Go ahead.
Please do though, find out how much you cost. That's the one like problem that I would recommend. Like, don't let it sidetrack you. Ministry will not make you lots of money. It won't. Most of you live on lots of money, and you're unaware of it. So find out as quickly as you can, how much do I cost? Like, what would it take to support me as I'm living right now for a month, or even for a year? It means you have to talk to your parents. You have to figure out, if you have a debit card and it magically gets filled up at the end of each month, then stop. Get an envelope of cash and see how quickly it disappears. I don't expect you to have jobs that will actually pay you through the year, but just wrap your head around, like, how much, what is my standard of living right now? How much do I rely on? And am I going to get that in ministry? Because that blows up a lot of ministry dreams. When you're really used to living like this, but you're going into a career that will only ever give you this. And that mismatch between those things can blow up your ministry.
Stay here because I want to give a quick apologetic. You can give your reaction.
Sure.
Stay right there.
Yeah.
So it just caused me to think about this last question. You guys know that I'm just in year 4 in university life. I've read books on, get the name of the book on college, how to avoid the college debt trap. Very sensitive to people saying, well, what's a ministry major going to do? Yeah, what does that buy you? So I'll just give you my quick apologetic about what I think if you do this well, you'll be prepared to do. I'm going to argue that you'll learn how to speak, you'll learn how to lead, you'll learn how to read and interpret all kinds of literature. You will learn how to work with people. And I would like to make the case that if you do the school of ministry well, I know some of you are in different majors, that you will be marketable, if you want to use that word, for all kinds of occupations, vocations. That's where I am at this point. If you do it right, you think well, you write well, you read well, those will all be used in the workplace somewhere.
The best man at my wedding is now a police officer up in Gresham. Guess what? Shooting guns is not what cops do. They learn how to de-escalate situations and calm people down and find like a peaceful situation or pathway through something. That's what he works with people day in and day out, and has to be able to find a way to continue to see their humanity through all of the crap. He's a police officer. My other friend has a student who is now a CIA analyst because she was really good at interpreting the Bible. She learned how to read texts and read between lines and figure out what people were trying to say. She works for the CIA. Dr. Kersey's daughter works for a company that wanted an international footprint. She was a intercultural studies major. They don't pay her to go do evangelism, but they do pay her to know how to operate in any country they drop her into. She happens to get to talk about Jesus wherever she goes, but they pay her to go find business markets in other cultures because she understands culture. Yes, these are skills that are transferable skills, but you have to know how to market yourself.
Good work.
Ministry will be entrepreneurial.
Thanks,
Yep. And just take on less debt. I've dropped 200K on my education. I will not make that back, just to be honest. So you have to prepare ahead of time. Don't do it through debt as much as you can. No, we're done.
Thank you.
Thanks.